Hello everyone. So today we are going to understand render method and its working by taking an example of a method in JavaScript. So with that in mind, let's start off with the session for the day. So in any React.js project, the typical flow structure is there is a public folder, there is an src folder, and within the public folder we have the index.html. And in the index.html file, we have a div with id root, and this root element is accessed by index.js with document.getElement by id root, and then we use the render method to render the React code within this root element. So if we open up this hello world in a new tab or in a new window, and if we try to inspect the hello world using inspect, we see that it is encapsulated or it is within the div id root or div with id root. So we'll try to understand how render method works by taking an example of another method in JavaScript which is called as innerHTML. So with that in mind, let's explore a bit of JavaScript first. So in JavaScript, we have a method which is called as innerHTML, which is used to add various tags within the particular tag. So let's just say we have a p tag here with an ID demo, and we have a text. So I'm just going to remove the text, and let's just say we have a p tag with ID demo, and we have a button here, and button will be, let's just say, generate text, and we'll close this button. And on click of this button, we are going to execute a function. Now let's try to understand what this function is. So we have a script tag here, and within that script tag, we have a function which is called as my function. Here we are first accessing this p tag with id demo using document.getElement by id and passing the name demo, which is the id of the p tag. And then we are using the innerHTML method. So what this innerHTML method will do is it will add this string within this p tag. And let's try to understand this by running the code. So once I click on generate text, we have seen that we have a text here which is I have changed. I'm going to inspect this and deep dive into it. So let's just say we click on run and we inspect the generate text button using inspect. So we have this button on click of which my function is getting executed, and we have a p tag with id demo within which there is nothing right now. On click of this button, we see that within this p tag, the string I have changed is generated. Now instead of string, we can also pass HTML elements within this code, and instead of using inner HTML with string, we can write a string like this with div slash div, and we can write something like random text. Now if you run this code and you click on inspect, so p tag currently is empty, and on clicking on the generate button, we see that within the p tag another div tag is generated, and in this div tag we have the text which is random text. So let's just change this with hello world and run the code. So on generate text, we have the text hello world with a div tag. Now, if we try to understand this and the render method in React, we see that there are a lot of similarities. The reason for this is when root.render method or render method is run in React, what it does is it takes the HTML tags from the app component or the main component, which is passed to the root.render method, and it converts those tags within the HTML, normal HTML code, and then it passes that HTML code back to the div id root. That is, it encapsulates or joins all the tags which are present in the app component, and it generates an HTML code and adds it within the div id root. And here we can see that this is similar to inner HTML in JavaScript. So this code which is running within the div tag, we can see that in the div id root, div with text hello world is generated. This is similar to how inner HTML was working previously. Here also we had the div with text hello world, right? So render method is similar to inner HTML in JavaScript, and it internally adds the whatever tags that we are added into the component into the div id root. So that's the similarity between render method in React and inner HTML in JavaScript. Now how this works is in the index.html, we have the div id with root. In the index.js, we first import create root from React DOM. So in React.js, there are two libraries which are important. First is React library itself, and second is React DOM. Why React DOM? Because initially React library itself had the browser-based implementation of React.js. Eventually, what happened was React was being used for building mobile apps using React Native. Then desktop apps using Electron.js and other libraries were used to build cross-platform app, and React was then used to build apps across desktop, mobile phone, as well as desktop. So in order to support all these changes, React library was added into its own package called as React. So if we go on React with GitHub, We see that React library is present here. And this is the library which is imported in React.js. In React library, and React DOM is the browser-based implementation of React, and this allows us to use the browser-based syntax in using the React library into our code. So React DOM is the browser-specific library which is used to render HTML using React.js project into a client browser. So in this case, what it happens is in the index.html, if we try to inspect this code, there will be some scripts which will be generated by the code. So if we go into body tag, we'll see that there are some scripts which are generated by React.js project, and these scripts are responsible for generating the hello world into the div-id root. So these scripts are internally generated using the index.js file, and this index.js file takes the app component or any component which is passed to it, converts all the HTML elements into HTML tags, and joins them within the div with id root. And that is how React generates code using the render method. And in the index.js, we have the app component. And in the app component, we have the div with id hello world. So basically, this div with id hello world is taken and then appended within the div with id root. So that's the overall working of render method in React.js. And I hope you understood the way in which the render method is used to generate HTML and render it within the React.js project by taking an example of innerHTML in JavaScript. So that was the overall agenda of the session for the day. And that's it from my end for today. Thank you and have a nice day. Goodbye. Hope you understood the working of render method in React.js.